Hello friends, welcome back to the channel on another video on sports. I'm Shakir. I do videos on sports, finance, reviews of movies, books, products and series. Today I'll be doing a review of Australian Open 2022 which concluded last week in Melbourne. The Australian Open 2022 concluded on 30th Jan 2022 in Melbourne. In fact, it concluded on 31st Jan 2022 as the finals went on till 1 a.m. Every year, me and my wife make it to the Australian Open since moving to Melbourne. But this year, with Omicron ravaging through the city, we decided to give it a rest. We'll make it up next year, maybe by visiting the semis or the finals of the tournament. For the review of the tournament, I'm going to pick the top players from the tournament and also the players who did not live up to their expectation in the both women's and men's draw. Alright, let's get to it. We start with the top performers in the women's draw. Number 1 for me is Ash Barty. What a tournament she's had. Absolutely in top of her game throughout the tournament. She hasn't lost a set in the entire tournament. In fact, she started off the year by dropping the first set in Adelaide and she hasn't dropped a set ever since. She was broken only thrice in the entire tournament. 2 out of the 3 breaks came in the second set of the finals. She became the first woman to lift the Australian Open trophy in 44 years. Yvonne Goolagong, who is her idol, presented her with the trophy and she was over the moon. Even through all this, Barty has always been appreciative of her opponents and has given credit where it's due. She comes across as a very humble and down-to-earth person. She has become my current favorite in the women's draw, surpassing Osaka. Number 2 for me is Danielle Collins. The 2022 finalist here in Melbourne. She played some incredible tennis in the past 2 weeks. She was the 27th seed in the tournament and she looked like a very solid and aggressive player throughout the tournament. She had 2 3-setters on her way up to the finals, both of which she won, being 1 set down. She showed a lot of determination and resilience, which was clear even when she played against Barty when she was 5-1 up in the second set. But the pressure of winning the set and Barty stepping up her game, she was able to make a comeback and win. Given that Daniels had surgery and had to recover from it, and then reaching the finals of this tournament is a great achievement. In the beginning of the tournament, she was ranked 30th, and by the end of it, she's climbed up to 10th. That's phenomenal. Number 3 for me is Madison Keys. She's ranked number 51 in the world. She had the previous highest ranking of number 7 back in 2016. She's no stranger to playing big matches. Her previous best performance in Australian Open was reaching the semi-finals in 2015, where she was defeated by Maria Sharapova. She didn't play the 2021 Australian Open, but her comeback this year was nothing short of amazing. She bet fellow American Sofia Kenin in round 1. She bet 8th-seeded Paula Badosa in round 3 and Krejcikova in the quarterfinals. She had a great run up to the semis, losing just 1 set, but that all changed when she met Barty in the semifinals. Number 4 for me is Kaya Kanepi. She's been around in tour for more than 15 years, so she is an experienced campaigner. She had a great run this year in the Australian Open. She defeated 16th seed Kerber in round 1 and world number 2 Aryna Sabalenka in round 4. She went about her business very effectively till the quarterfinals. This was her best performance in Australian Open ever. Hopefully, we get to see her more. After her great performance this year, she's moved up to rank 63 from 115 before the start of the tournament. Number 5 for me is a 32-year-old French woman, Elise Cornet. She kind of had a dream run this year in the Australian Open. She went past the third seeded Gabrielle Muguruza in round 2, Tamara Zidensek in round 3, and the former world number 1 Simona Halep in round 4. This was her first quarterfinals appearance in a Grand Slam. Her run was topped by this year's finalist Danielle Collins. Due to her amazing performance in this tournament, she's moved up 24 places in the ranking from 61 to 37. Now we look at the players who didn't live up to their expectation in the women's draw. Number 1 for me is Gabrielle Muguruza. The third seeded Spaniard was sent packing in round 2 by Elise Cornet. Elise Cornet totally outplayed Muguruza in her rallies, and Muguruza's poor first serve percentage didn't help either. Due to her exit in round 2 of this tournament, she's dropped ranking by 4 and is now at number 7. Number 2 for me is Naomi Osaka. The defending champion had smooth sailing through round 1 and round 2. Both her matches lasting just over an hour each. The draw was such that she would have faced Ash Barty in round 4. That was a much anticipated match. These two haven't played against each other since 2019, and it was a rematch of their 2018 encounter in Melbourne itself, which Osaka won. But to get there, Osaka had to beat the 20-year-old American Amanda Anisimova in round 3. Osaka, after winning the first set, dropped the second set, but she had 2 match points in the third set, which she lost, and she lost the set in the tiebreaker. Due to this defeat, Osaka has now slipped 71 places in her ranking from 14 to 85. Number 3 for me is Aryna Sabalenka. The world number 2 Belarusian didn't have a great tournament. She struggled all through the tournament. All her matches were 3-setters and her service was below par. She was defeated in 3 sets in round 4 by Kia Kanepi. She got 19 double faults in a second round match, and she even joked about it in a post-match interview. Even after her round 4 exit in this tournament, she has kept her number 2 ranking. That shows what a great year she's had in 2021. Number 4 for me is Maria Sakkari. The Greek was 5th seeded in this tournament, and I was expecting her to reach at least the quarterfinals to face off with Ash Barty, because she made it to the semi-finals in the WTA finals and also was in good form. But she stumbled in round 4 against the American Jessica Pegula in straight sets. In spite of a defeat in round 4 in this tournament, she's kept her ranking at number 8. Number 5 for me is Emma Raducanu. After a sensational performance of winning 10 matches in a row in the US Open and lifting the trophy, Emma Raducanu was in the spotlight. She came into the tournament with 13 wins to 1 loss in Grand Slams, which is a whooping 92.85% win rate. I expected her to go further along in the tournament, though she would have faced Simona Halep in round 3. After her round 2 defeat, since she didn't play the Australian Open last year, she didn't lose any points. Rather, she gained points and she's moved up 5 places in the ranking and is now ranked number 13. Now we move on to the top performers in the men's draw. Number 1 for me is hands down Rafael Nadal. Rafa came to the tournament after a big surgery for his foot injury. Once the surgery was complete, he wasn't even sure he would be able to compete at this level. But once he was fit, he went to Abu Dhabi to play the World Tennis Championship, and he got COVID there. It was like one hiccup after another, but somehow he made it into the draw. and boy, did he play some amazing tennis. He had smooth sailing till he reached the quarterfinals, which he played against Denis Shapovalov. Nadal went 2 sets to love up, but Shapovalov made a comeback and took it to the fifth set. Nadal struggling with a stomach issue, but he dug deep and won the match in the fifth set. His finals against Medvedev is one of the best in recent times, coming from 2 sets to love down and winning the match. Amazing stuff. He now has 21 Grand Slam titles to his name, his second Australian Open win. He also completed the double Grand Slam, which Djokovic completed when he won the Roland Garros. Djokovic now has his task cut off since the next Grand Slam is Roland Garros, where Nadal is the king. Ranking wise, he's still number 5 in spite of winning the tournament. Number 2 for me is Daniil Medvedev. Medvedev, after winning his first Grand Slam in US Open last year and with Novak Djokovic this year in Australian Open, he was the top seed and was also the favourite to win the trophy. He had a decent run, beating Nick Kyrgios in round 2, but he faced Auger Aliassime in the quarterfinals. He was 2 sets to love down, but he came back and won the match in the 5-setter. He became the first man in the tournament to do so. The second time it happened in this tournament, he lost to Nadal. He became the third man to follow up the first Grand Slam win with an appearance in the finals in the next Grand Slam. If he had won this tournament, he would have become the first to do so following first Grand Slam win with another Grand Slam win. And he would have also had a shot at becoming number 1. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. During his stint, he did make some enemies in the crowd and he wasn't supported by the Melbourne crowd throughout the tournament. Number 3 for me is Matteo Berrettini. He is only 25 years old and a couple of months younger than Daniil Medvedev. He is making it a habit of reaching the semi-finals and finals of a Grand Slam. The 2021 Wimbledon finalist. I'm sure it's not going to be long before he lifts his first Grand Slam trophy. He looked like he was in prime form and he had a hurdle in round 3 and the quarterfinals. In round 3, the young Spaniard claimed as the future Rafa, Alcaraz Garcia, fought it out with Matteo Berrettini. It was a 5-setter, which Berrettini came out on top. In the quarterfinals, it was against Gael Monfils, which was again a 5-setter. Berrettini came on top. In both the matches, Berrettini was 2 sets to love up and lost the next 2 sets, only to comfortably win the 5th set. Berrettini lost to Rafael Nadal in the semi-finals. He has never bet Nadal till date, but he did win his first set against Nadal in the semi-finals. He is now 1 spot up in the ranking and is now at number 6. Number 4 for me is Gael Monfils. The 35-year-old Frenchman was always a crowd favourite. He had reached the quarterfinals of the Australian Open only once before, back in 2016. He had a great run up until the quarterfinals. He was sailing along smoothly, winning all his matches in straight sets. But he faced off Matteo Berrettini in the quarterfinals, who was a tougher opponent. But he did put up a fight after going 2 sets to love down, winning the next 2 sets, but only to lose the 5th set pretty easily. Due to his performance in this tournament, he is 4 spots up in the ranking and is now ranked number 16. In the men's draw, there were a lot less upsets in the early part of the tournament compared to the women's draw. So the players who didn't live up to their expectation in the men's draw, number 1 for me is Alexander Zverev. Zverev was coming into the Australian Open after winning the ATP World Tour finals. So I was expecting him to win the tournament or at least make it to the semis. But he succumbed in round 4 against Denis Shapovalov, that too in straight sets. Zverev himself called his performance pathetic and he should have done better. But his rankings hasn't changed. Number 2 for me is Andrei Rublev. Rublev was number 5th seed in the tournament, but he was knocked out in round 3 by Martin Cilic in 4 sets. He did have a good performance in round 1 and 2, but that didn't continue and he was knocked out. He is now one spot down in the rankings, ranked number 7. Number 3 for me is Novak Djokovic. This might sound controversial, but hear me out first. I was expecting Novak to come into the tournament and win it for the 10th time in Rod Laver Arena. But due to his visa issues and him getting deported from Australia, and with the chance of him not playing in the Australian Open for the next 3 years, that's a disappointing outcome for me. Hence, he is in the list. That concludes the review of the tournament. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please check out our food and travel blog. The link is in the description below. Also check out the link in the description below for some rewards and freebies of some sites and services that I use. Have a great week everyone. Take care. I'll see you all in the next video. Ciao.